Okay, end of April, Easter Sunday. Here's the backyard garden. I just moved out. I've moved out 3 of my 4 citrus plants to harden off. I've found that moving them here where they get a little bit of shade later on the day for a couple of days helps before I move them back up to the patio of the greenhouse, because they used to get fried. My green stalk has strawberries and pine berries, and a lot of them have died over the winter, partly because I moved it in my greenhouse. I think maybe I should have just left them outside because I don't know if it would have done any worse. We did have some bitter cold, so that was why. I moved out my passion fruit here. I did trim the vines because it was just totally unruly. I am going to put that in the ground, I think back in the corner, once I have a minute. Also hardening off seedlings, or these have actually been out a while, but I'm trying to let them grow on before I move them. Primarily this tray is poppies, and then we have some hollyhock and also some melon just starting to sprout. There's Tradescantia that made it through the winter inside. It was a little worse for the wear, some of them, but they made it through. Rex begonia, same thing. There's some cilantro, some more seedlings that I'm putting out, trying to let them get some sunshine. Tradescantia, the original mama plant, some chocolate mint. I put chard in here. I do also have a little baby pine berry, some anise hyssop, and rose right there, getting swallowed up by daylilies. And then, I left my drainage pipe connector pieces out. And there's one citrus I've already totally hardened off, and I repotted it. It's one I grew from seed, and it's kind of been a little sickly. But we'll give it its chance. Bay laurel here. We have French lilacs, some hydrangeas. These are my figs that came off of the split in my big fig tree, which I noticed they had roots, so I decided to put them in pots. And so they may in fact be fig trees one day. Potatoes that I put in a week or 2 ago. They're already out. Hosta that I dug up. Let's see, in the greenhouse. Tomatoes, and these are all vine tomatoes that are in. I actually already put my bush tomatoes in the ground. Some black lace elderberry from cutting in the back, and clematis that I think I'm going to put in the backyard. I do have 2 aromas here that I haven't given away, and my pepper plants that I think I'm going to let grow on for a little while longer before I put them out. It's been very unseasonably warm, so I'm pretty sure the soil is probably warm enough. But I feel like in the past when I've put them in, like right after last frost, they don't grow as fast as ones that I've waited to put in later, which is sort of the traditional wisdom, but I always try to test things and see how they go on my own terms. Because sometimes old wisdom doesn't hold true anymore. But I will say I'm very proud of myself, because with these being the only tomatoes and peppers I have left, I've given away a ton already. I have a friend who is really getting into gardening, and so I gave her 2 whole trays full of plants, and my little bug guy that comes around, he's a gardener, so I gave him some, which is really the reason I keep growing so many, so I can share. And then in the years past, I've ended up with plenty left over, but this year I think I did it right. I got a reasonable amount. So I got Angelonia And a little petunia back there too. There's also some celery and Brussels sprouts and kale that I don't have a place for. I haven't managed to find them homes. Down here is sea holly, some dahlia tubers that may or may not have enough plant to make a flower. I'm starting to think they probably don't, but we're going to give them a little bit more time. Amaryllis that somebody gave me. Hydrangeas, those are actually cuttings off of the other plants out front because they were too tall when I put them in the pots. And anything that's in these little paper pots, I basically can't get any kind of decent growth from direct seeded plants. They get eaten by bugs or slugs or dug up by squirrels, but if I let things get a good head start, then I do okay. So, and these are things that don't like root disturbance, moreover. So nasturtiums and more melons, and back there is roselle and okra, which is exciting. And these are all squashes of a different sort, so I've gotten fairly good germination. I'm still waiting on, looks like, some butternuts to emerge. And then these are poppies and nigella, and I actually started these before the bigger pots out there, so you know, like the size of the fishbowl, right? And that is, I had to dig up a big clump of sage in the garden to make way for the trellis, and there was a little baby with some roots, so letting it have its own space, let it grow up so I can plant it out. Those are different columbines that I'll have to separate soon, and then one tiny little lavender, and then these guys haven't done anything yet, I don't think, although I see the tiniest little sprouts over there, so I'm not sure if that's what it's intended to be. Right, and there's somebody washing a car across the street, so there'll be background noise. It's Easter Sunday, you gotta get your car washed before you go to dinner, I guess. I don't wash my car, so obviously that's sort of the tone there. I shouldn't say never, I do, but it's when I have to, you know? Alright, and asparagus, pine berries, woodland chamomile. See my irrigation system there. Oh my god, oh gosh, there's berries over there. Okay, that's exciting. And strawberries are starting to come in over here too. Do my best not to squash anybody, but yeah, starting to get our first strawberries of the season, and they're looking pretty good. And this, up till now, has not been irrigated at all. I do have some little spikes in, say cranberry viburnum that I didn't think lived. I transplanted it last year. It totally came back from roots. Strawberries, and then that looks like some kind of little tree trying to come up there, which I got lots of now. There's a Solomon seal. That's blackberry, I believe. Some of these are dewberries. That's a dewberry, so they're wild, little tiny guys. My mango pawpaw, I just got in. Sorry for the road noise, I'm doing this later than usual. Serviceberry, which is all doing very well. Right, and now I'll try and not trip myself coming through all of this stuff. Serviceberry, mango pawpaw. That is a dahlia, has yet to emerge. I tried leaving all my dahlias in ground. This is a comfrey that came up from nothing and went straight to flower like almost immediately, so good job, little comfrey. Blackberries, which there's another one behind the comfrey. Hollyhock, and that is a black jewel raspberry, and I've got a bunch of echinacea popping up. This is my original clump. Oh, hi bird. So I got a little bird over there tearing up in my asparagus bed. guys. Yeah, don't mind all that. That was bagged, and the critters have opened them up for us, so I'm going to figure out something to do with that. But again, it's been low on the priorities. Echinacea, and while I'm standing here, maybe I'll show you from this side. Hardy kiwi, second year in the ground, excellent growth. My rhubarb, which came up, and 2 of them immediately flowered. Apparently that doesn't impact the flavor or the edible nature of the stalks, which I'll be honest, I haven't harvested yet. I was trying to let them get good and established, but they look pretty happy. Peach tree, contender peach, that was just put in. I pulled all the fruit off of it, which hurt my feelings a little bit, but since it's his first year in the ground, we wanted to focus on roots, not fruits. Oh, and that's the Honeycrisp apple behind it. My blueberry, I've got a number of different varieties, and I honestly don't remember all of them. I think that is either a Blue Ray or Blue Jay. And I did pull it up and stake it and pull it out of the way because we put in a trellis, and I'll show you from the other side. And so I have to reset my irrigation line. We actually finished doing the trellis late in the afternoon yesterday. Brussels sprouts here, which some of them look real sad. I'm about to put my vine tomatoes in over here, so you know they'll have their time. This is a Cabernet Splash blueberry, which has these beautiful burgundy tinged leaves. My little salad corner, which we've gotten several salads off of so far, and some cilantro, oregano, and thyme. And that is a Tropicana rose, which is a little bit unwieldy. If I was probably a better gardener, I would have cut that back so I would have a nicer shape, be a little more compact. But it was it kept freezing as soon as leaves would emerge, so I didn't want to stress it out too bad. But anyway, this one is in the food garden because she's going to have rose hips that we will harvest. Kale, lots of yarrow coming back, and these little guys, they're not open yet, but all of these, which I thought were muscari that were popping up, are some other little white flower, and I don't know what it is, and all of a sudden they're everywhere. So thanks, little flowers, for turning up. Let's see, I've got lots and lots of things coming in from just seeds getting kicked up after the storm. Oh man, I just put in this artichoke, and obviously something thought it was yummy, so I guess I need to size those up before I put them out. Mustard, kale, lots of peas. Oh, let me back up and show you the trellis. Yay, cattle panel trellis. And I still have the teepees on the other side because they were already established, so it'd probably look a little weird for a bit, but red Brussels sprout, rhubarb Brussels sprout, peas, and these peas may make their home up the new trellis. Oh my gosh, so much noise. And let's see, delphinium under that, the peach tree. Try and run through here since there's so much noise. Ground cherries put in. These are all broccoli, and I put in my bush tomatoes and planted my onion sets that I'd sprouted. Bok choy, a bit of spinach, kale. Those are also pretty plants, sort of ornamental. Another artichoke, still living. There's a poppy that was seeded from last year. And let's hurry up for these guys here. Lots of cilantro, red cabbage, more lettuce, chard, little whole chard corner, ground cherry, dill. These are all cauliflower. They're kind of like some of my other brassicas. I feel like brassicas for us are a crapshoot anyway. But like that one already got chewed up pretty good, as did that one. Oh, and I think there's a peach tree growing in between. And that's also lamb's quarter. That's a wild one, although it is very nutritious. It's supposed to have more iron than spinach. And it reseeds itself really well. I may let that stay there. It gets to be a huge plant. And lavender. There's my fig tree. Got peas back here and some asparagus. I put a couple of asparagus crowns in last year. There's my apple tree that got split during Helene. She seems to be recovering well after I cut off the broken things. I didn't want to do too much more to it, so she's kind of unbalanced this year. I may do some things next year to shore her up, but I hope anyway. But she seems to be recovering well. So yeah, more peas back there, snap peas. Hardy kiwi down in the corner. That was the one that was on the fence that the tree fell through. And so I had to cut it back down to basically the nub, but she seems to be recovering nicely. Lots of borage popping up in the walkway. And still have some cleanup to do, but it's like prioritizing things. Oh, I did put in my carrots. So I have carrots in here that I have to get started in toilet paper tubes, because otherwise I don't get them. They get eaten by bugs or dug up by squirrels, like everything else. This little mess here, been letting this star jasmine grow, which I probably should cut it back. That is a blackberry that sprouted itself there. I can't remember if I stuck a cutting in the ground, and that's the original blackberry. Pawpaw, my officinalis pawpaw, that's been in the ground 5 years now, 4 or 5 years. Finally flowered. Good job, little guy. My mushroom log back there that is never mushroomed, along with my pots that are deteriorating. But this elderberry, definitely 5th year in the ground. So it might be 4 for the pawpaw. 5 years for the elderberry. That was a bare root whip, which has done well for itself and has already had some propagation. I'm gonna have to cut back the top though, because those branches are crossing, I think, and it's growing into the maple tree. Raspberries that have grown out of the bed, I think seeking sunlight. But all the raspberries there were from one original heritage raspberry plant. I believe heritage was the variety. I'll do this a little different order than I normally do, I think. So I'm trying to finish up. Pink lady apple, which is putting on growth. It also had minimal damage somehow from the tree that fell through. Did make a couple of flowers, so I was trying to make some fruit. This is a quince, which is already flowered and trying to make fruit. And I'm gonna have to take that off since it's its first year in the ground, but good job, little quince. And its friend is still pretty naked. I'll show you in a second. To tie it up some more. Blueberries, that's the first one I ever put in, although it's still looks kind of skinny and sad. I don't think it's its happiest place. There's one there. One of those two are pink lemonade, and they've been very happy where they've been put. And here's my other quince. This is the Crimea. The other one is Cauching. I can't get it to focus on that, but you can see there's something happening there. Good job, little quince. I'm glad you're happy. Trying to make buds. Oh, there's so much road noise. Sorry for anybody who's watching. So that is my peach tree that grew from seed, volunteered in my bed. I don't know what it is. It was over there. I moved it right here. Also planted it up higher a little bit because plants seem to do better here. And this is a nectarine I put in its place. So I think that's pretty much everything happening right now that I can think of. The end.